All right, welcome in. Welcome back to the Andre Duke Show. Appreciate everybody who's tuning in, or if you're listening to this on recording, Richie's going to be dropping in a second. Appreciate all of you guys, but first and foremost, want to get the sponsor up here. Williams Auto Parts, located in Portland, Indiana. Been in business since 1951, over 4 generations. Go see our fine folks at Williams Auto Parts and check those guys out. Go see Rocky, go see Heath. Be more than happy to assist you with your new and used auto parts need. Located off of Highway 27 on 127 South Detroit Avenue in Portland, Indiana. Go see Rocky, go see Heath, and their phone number is 260-726-8001. Again, their phone number is 260-726-8001. Go see Rocky, go see Heath, go see the fine folks at Williams Auto Parts. So, as we're getting everything going today, appreciate everybody who's jumping in. Richie's going to be joining us here in a few. Going over some March Madness stuff. It was March Madness, to be completely honest, after we got that. The matchups for Thursday, Sweet 16 starts it off on Thursday night. Texas, Purdue. We'll see if Purdue can get over the hump and beat Texas. Cornageddon is what they're calling it. Iowa, Nebraska. And then you have the Hogs taking on the Wildcats on Thursday at 9:45. That's on CBS. And then Illinois, Houston. Going to be very interesting on how that game shakes out. That's one part of it. And then Friday night, which I know CBS is licking their chops at this one, you get St. John's versus Duke, Michigan, Alabama, Michigan State, UConn, Iowa State, Tennessee. I actually like the Vols in that one. I think Tennessee got a pretty good road, and that's kind of what we got cooking on the college basketball front. Some of the news and stuff going on in the college football world. Everybody's doing the returning production numbers. I find that fascinating. Kurt Signetti's driving the pace car for all the Hoosier fans out there, if anybody cares about that. So Sig's doing that. It's fascinating. I think the Signetti stuff is fascinating on how this whole thing has, how it's all kind of came about in the last, 18 months, the way it's worked out for the Hoosiers and, all that stuff like that. But yeah, the returning production numbers are very interesting. I think that if we learned anything from last year about returning production numbers, I think Clemson goes in there. Also, the women's tournament's on, if anyone cares about that. And then also got the replay of the NASCAR race on. But as we're going through it, I just look at it and I think those returning production numbers are very fascinating, to say the least. Some of the teams that have some of the most returning production: Notre Dame, Texas, BYU, Nebraska, Maryland. I think Nebraska, out of the top 5 that allegedly have returning production numbers, I like Matt Rule. I think Matt Rule is a good football coach. I just don't think he can get any traction, any steam, any momentum. The loss of Dylan Raiola, I think, kind of torpedoes. I think that's gonna write the book on the Matt Rule tenure in Nebraska, to be completely honest. Some people may disagree with that, but I really do think that is going to be, for the most part, it could be his undoing. Some people may disagree with that, but every team that's on the list, 4 out of the 5 return their quarterback. I think that's interesting. Maryland, they had a good freshman last year. I didn't watch a whole bunch of Maryland, to be completely honest. I watched them a little bit when they played that late night game against UCLA, kind of just fell apart. That's I think Deshaun Foster was fired after that point. UCLA got a pretty decent win. It's fascinating on how that program just completely went. They were at the lowest of lows when they got beat at home. When they got beat at home by New Mexico, and then they have Penn State rolling there after they make the coaching change with Deshaun Foster, and it turns into basically they beat Penn State. Then they went on the road and beat Michigan State, and then they ran into the buzzsaw that was the Hoosiers. So I think that for the most part, I think it's fascinating on how they did a turnaround there. The team that I'm interested to see is, Kalani Sitake lost Jake Retzoff last year for the allegation that didn't turn into anything. He ends up leaving BYU. He broke the honor code. A lot of people, I seen some outrage about him breaking the honor code, and I just kind of was like, he signed it. At the end of the day, he signed the document. That's kind of what it was. It's nothing more, nothing less. He signed the document, and he has to live with the consequences of what's in that document. It's just like signing a contract. And you break the contract and you get sued. So that's just kind of the way it is. And then we got Notre Dame at the top of the list. I think the big straw that stirs the drink. I think as long as Marcus Freeman is at the helm at Notre Dame, they're going to be fairly good on defense. Chris Ash, defensive coordinator, going into his second year. So all the stuff that changed from Golden to Ash, they should have a lot of that worked out. Notre Dame got busy in the portal on the perimeter, and I think you're going to see why there was a big change. I think Quincy Porter and Mylan Graham could have the potential for breakout years. I seen Mylan Graham play in high school, an unbelievable talent, kind of overlooked being from Indiana. I believe he was still a 5-star though, but the kid's a player. It's just they got a log jam right now at the Ohio State receiver room. You're going to have Ennis. Carnell Tate went to the draft. You have Ennis, Chris Henry Jr., J.J. Smith. It's realistically, it's a big time deal to try to get on the field at Ohio State, especially at receiver. The departure of Hartline, very interesting to see if the wide receiver recruiting falls off or how it changes. I think that some people can say it's wild, but Chris Henry didn't sign right away when he got the news that Hartline was leaving. I'm not gonna even really speculate. I just thought that was a fascinating deal there. But I think going forward, a lot of the teams that come back, the big addition for Texas this year, Cam Coleman, they pick him up from Auburn, highly touted receiver. I think that looking at Cam Coleman's production, his numbers don't really jump off the page because of the quarterback issues they had at Auburn. And, a lot of people can get into whatever they want to get into with Freeze. I will stand by this. I think it's an accurate statement. I think Hugh Freeze gambled on a quarterback and it didn't pan out. And I think a lot of the programs suffered because of that. I know there was people pounding the table when he didn't go get Riley Leonard. Would that have helped Freeze? Yeah, Riley was a good college player. And especially him being from Alabama, he ends up at Duke and then ends up at Notre Dame, and then Richie has entered the chat. What's up, Richard?
What's up, Mr. Andre 3000?
Oh, just looking at the thing that they have that I pulled was the teams with the highest returning production. Notre Dame obviously leading the way. Some of the things with the returning production is that I think that we have to be careful because of Clemson last year. The top 5 teams with loaded for 2026 is what the article says. It's Notre Dame, Texas, BYU, Nebraska, Maryland.
Well, we all know how it fared with Texas from last year.
I think Texas was better late in the year after they took the crushing loss to Georgia at home. I think there's something to be said about that. Maryland, Mike Locksley, I don't know what your end goal is if you're Maryland, you're not dumping a ton of money into the program and you're expecting Big Ten results. Nebraska the same way. I think it's going to get loud in corn country if Matt Rule has another so-so year.
Yeah.
But it's all dependent on the administration, which I did not know this, Rich. When I started looking into the Nebraska stuff, do you know their board of regents is elected? You're not appointed.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they have to get voted in. Very, very interesting stuff. The reason why I bring that up is because the old Nebraska AD, I don't want to butcher his name. I am trying to think. Who that athletic director was. He wrote a book recently. I'm trying to find it really quick, but it basically details a lot of, just give me the list of who they were. List of Nebraska athletic directors. So Tony Dannon is the athletic director now. Trev Alberts left. It was Bill Moons. He wrote a book. He was the athletic director from 17 to 21. He wrote a book basically chronicling his time. There's a section of it in there as he was the athletic director at Nebraska. I don't know if it's out yet, but he basically writes it his time there. That I guess they were in talks before COVID to going back to the Big 12.
Oh,
yeah,
that'll be interesting.
Oh yeah, it would have been a huge it would have been a huge deal, in my opinion.
They would if that would have happened, they probably might have fared a little bit better playing in the Big 12 if that would have went through.
Oh yeah. In which I think that, some of the stuff that got wrote in that book, I didn't know they sent Scott Frost to the Betty Ford Clinic when he was at Nebraska.
Oh, I didn't know that either.
Well, I mean, it would sum up the whole, because I remember Zach put out a deal. He talked about it when it was before Frost got fired. what was it? Before Frost got fired, Zach did a deal that it was I'm trying to think about the golf simulator. I know I'm stumbling right now, but I'm trying to do two things at once. But he did all of that, and Zach talked about how the golf team couldn't use the simulator because in the springtime, Frost and his buddies were like hogging it. And a lot of Nebraska people are like, that's not true, blah, 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 blah. Well, Bill writes this book. He was the former athletic director, and they get in there and, you get to the nuts and bolts of it. It talks about how he interviewed, he showed up in sweatpants, and basically everybody thought the prodigal son returns and it was going to be hunky-dory. I think Nebraska's got bigger problems than what they want to admit. I don't know. It just, I don't know. I think Matt Rule's a hell of a football coach, in my opinion. I just don't know if he can dig them out of this hole.
Yeah, losing Rayola's, that's tough.
Here's my thing. I think when it came to them losing Raiola, I think that is a bigger blow than Tennessee losing.
Oh, I think, yeah.
Nico, because I think Tennessee was structurally built better. They were just, the thing for Heupel, we're just a quarterback away. I think Nebraska needs more help on defense. I think they're not solid offensively. I think the program is in the toilet, and you're expecting Matt Rule to pull it out of there. And, everybody wants to say, well, he won at Temple and he won at Baylor. Well, see, the thing with Baylor was if you look at the schedules that they played at Baylor opposed to, because the Big 12 schedule is easier than the Big 10.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with Luke Fickell.
Yep. Yeah, because Fick was in Cincinnati. Were they in the Big 12?
No, they were in the American.
Yeah. Different. Yeah, and they got in the playoffs.
And they make it as they got in the playoffs. I just think that, man, I don't know. I think that there's too many dormant programs in the Big Ten that are trying to commit resources or 50-50 on committing resources. And, I think Wisconsin was late to respond. I think Nebraska, they sell out every game. I don't know how they don't have more money than anybody.
Yeah, because it's Nebraska football in the Children of the Corn area, and you would think there, like you were saying, Duke, there'd be more resources there.
And I get it; it's in the middle of nowhere, but then again, you have to make up for the middle of nowhere with the money aspect of it. There's something that's just not adding up. I mean, Columbus is a hell of a town. Is it better than Lincoln, Nebraska? I've been to Lincoln and I've been to Columbus.
Are they equally the same? I've never been to Lincoln.
I don't think Lincoln's a bad town, but my thing is you're the only ticket in town. Same thing with Iowa.
Exactly.
But, we're going to have Cornageddon this week is what I've seen some people on the internet call it, Cornageddon, between a corn off between Nebraska and Iowa. And I didn't know this until this week. They were talking, and I seen some people talking about it online. But did you know the gym at Nebraska, or not Nebraska, but the gym in Iowa doesn't have air conditioning?
Duke, that's the random factoid of the day. I didn't know that either. How does that make sense?
Well, they built it.
It gets cold. Yeah, I mean, it kind of makes sense because it gets cold, super, super cold in Iowa.
So I thought that was very fascinating. because they were talking about when they were playing the regional games, the temperature of the gym for the ladies tournament.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, that is what it is. And then we'll go over some national championship odds here really, really quick. See what you like, see what you don't like. I don't think there's anything that's really changed a whole bunch, except Notre Dame has became the betting favorite at plus 600, Ohio State plus 675, Texas 725, Indiana 725, Oregon 750, Kirby and the Dogs plus 850, and then you have LSU plus 1,000, Miami, Texas Tech, A&M, Alabama plus 2,200, Ole Miss plus 3,000.
Oof.
And there's some stinkers in there, buddy.
I don't know, Duke. It's hard to pick who's going to be playing in the Natty next year.
I think
because you're seeing the turnover rate just like how it is in the NFL, roster turnover.
Do you want to know what's something that's alarming for me? Because I'm looking at Caesars. What do you think Alabama's win total is over under as of
8.5?
Yep. And it's juiced to the over.
I don't know, Duke.
I mean,
put a G down on that
for Alabama to go under 8.5.
Yeah.
Georgia's at 9.5. I think it's fascinating. Houston smashed their win total. Like, I had the over on that last year because I don't see how you didn't. But Houston's up to 7.5 minus 160 on that. Even though I haven't really looked at schedules, but Indiana's at 10.5. North Carolina win total sitting at 4.5.
See, I was going to put 3.5.
They're not as bad as Purdue and Barry Odom sitting at 2.5. Texas Tech is sitting at 11.5, but it's minus 200 on the under. As I'm looking through some of this, trying to see something that jumps off the page, which I think you could make some money with Ohio State at 9.5 and parlaying that with Oklahoma. With Oklahoma, because Oklahoma's minus 130 at 7.5 wins.
First Caesars, okay.
Oh, you can't combine two selections on win total.
You can't do it.
Not on Caesars. You got to do it on FanDuel. Michigan really high, 8.5 win total.
I think they're going to get in the playoffs.
You think Whittingham's going to do that big of a turnaround that quick?
Dude, he's a good coach. I like Whittingham.
I do too.
I mean, it sucks that he's up north, but I think he's a good coach.
Now, this moved because Bailey and Matt put that Bailey and Matt talked about this the other day on their show 0 to 60 because Colorado opened up at a 4.5 win total in a week. Where do you think that win total sits?
For who?
Colorado.
3.5.
Yep, it got bet down. The over is minus 160. I don't know if that'll come home or not. Because they got to win 4 in order to cash that. I don't see it.
Yeah, I can't wait to cook up some parlays next season. Who do
Do
what do you think of like Oklahoma at Michigan?
big noon kickoff. That's the only thing I can think about, which
It is
sucks.
it is a 12 noon game, Duke.
They've already selected it. Fox has.
Did they? Oh, okay. I'm saying
Um,
who are you going with in that game? If right today,
I think you have to ride Oklahoma because they have Mateer coming back, but I don't think it's a sure thing. I really don't. I don't. I don't. I bet it. If you had me to set the line right now, I would set it at. If we just use round numbers, I would say Oklahoma +3 or Oklahoma -3. Make them a 3-point favorite on the road in the Big Ten, because that game will either go one of two ways. Oklahoma will smash them, and Michigan will look unprepared, or Michigan's going to come out. They're going to play, and it could be a field goal game, because you know how lines move, and I think you'd see 5.5, 4.5 in Oklahoma. I could see Oklahoma kicking a field goal to win it all, to win it. The Michigan people would be happy because they covered, and they would be on the we're not so far away. So, which I hate being this guy, but there's the Heisman odds out there, and like, I don't know, Rich. Like, you got CJ Carr, you got Arch Manning, Trinidad Chambliss, Jeremiah Smith, Julian Sayin, Dante Moore, Darian Mensah, Josh Hoover, Livet at LSU, Jaden Maeva, John Mateer, Gunnar Stockton, Marcel Reed, Brandon Sorsby, Lenoris Sellers. I don't know if I had to pick a dark horse, possibly for the Heisman. I think I would go Kewan Lacey. Let me take 3: Kewan Lacey, Drew Mestamaker, and Austin Mack.
see, I would take Dante Moore,
Is Oregon?
Jeremiah.
I feel like, Rich, I feel like we do this every year with the Oregon. I feel like we do it every year, that Oregon is going to be right in the thick of things.
And Lincoln Keenholz plus 8,000.
Lincoln Keenholz. Oh boy, it'll be interesting to see him paired with Braum. He's a hell of an athlete. I know that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I think
I wouldn't be shocked if Louisville's dangerous next year if they're competing in the ACC title.
You want a hot take?
Sure.
This will probably ruffle some feathers, but hot take. Hopefully this one gets clipped, but hot taking, I would have hired John Summerall over Lane Kiffin at LSU, and I would have hired Jeff Brom instead of Lane Kiffin at LSU.
Jeff Brom's good.
Is that hot takey?
I don't think so.
I know some people would tell me I'm nuts, but I don't know, Rich. I look at that whole situation down there in Baton Rouge, and I think it's either going to be.
It's going to be a dumpster. I think it's going to be a dumpster fire. It's just going to be too many outside distractions for the locker room.
I just feel like if LSU does not rein Lane Kiffin in with the Twitter stuff, it's not going to get any better. I mean, you seen the stuff that he threw out there with Deuce McAllister when his kid was on a visit, and that set Twitter on fire.
Yep.
I
Because
guess I look.
you're gonna have the cameras all. It's lane, lane, lane. You know when they go to
They go to.
when they play Clemson week 1. That I think that's going to be the dominant story of the weekend in week 1.
I
Dabo, Dabo, and Lane.
I just I just look at it in. I think in 5 months, 3 weeks, and 6 days, when he steps foot in Vaught Hemingway, it's going to be a powder keg.
That's what I'm looking at too. Then he's going to have. Then he has L.A. Tech after Clemson, and then he's got to go on the road to play Ole Miss. The pressure's on the first 2 out of 3 weeks of the season.
I think he has less pressure on the Clemson deal. I think his roster is better than Clemson's as it sits.
Mm-hmm.
I think he beats Dabo. But there's a part of me to where LSU could start out 1-2.
I think Clemson can get that game. I think they can sneak that game, and LSU loses at Ole Miss.
I mean, I'm not trying to make this about, Lane Kiffin all the time, but I think at some point you got to stop poking the bear, right?
One would be wise to do that. Duke, I'm looking at the schedule. They could be a 9-3 team and not make the playoffs. And I think the people in Baton Rouge, they might start growing uneasy.
Okay, let's just spitball this. Let's say they will go win-loss. We'll go win-loss and toss. Clemson, they have them at home.
I think they're taking the L.
L at Clemson. Ole Miss.
L.
So he would be 2-1, right?
He would be 1-2.
He would be 1-2 because he's got, for some reason, the schedule isn't in order. Because it's what I'm looking at on my screen.
Hold on, Duke. Let me
Where is the La Tech game?
La Tech is September 12th.
So La Tech is in between Clemson and Ole Miss.
Correct. And so, then after Ole Miss, Texas A&M.
The Aggies come to town.
Yep.
And Marcel Reed, is he going to be better? Mike Elko's defense is going to be good.
Yeah. Right now, staring at 1-3, Duke.
Then he'll beat McNeese because it looks like there's a bye week in there. They'll beat McNeese. They'll be 2-3. Kentucky, Will Stein, who the hell knows, honestly.
Mississippi State the week after. That's a win. At Jordan Hare.
Alex Golish.
I think Lane gets that one in the Tiger Bowl.
Okay, so that puts him at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wins. Alabama. I say no. I don't think he'll beat Alabama.
I don't think he'll beat Alabama, and he won't beat Texas the week after.
Tennessee. And it's at
Nayland. Yeah, dude. This is a gauntlet.
I say no.
I don't think he does it either.
I think he beats Arkansas just on general principle because it's Arkansas.
They get the golden boot. Yep.
So
we're looking at 8-7-5,
6-6,
6-6.
That's not bad for your first year, but I think the expectations are way higher.
Oh yeah.
I just think it's playoff or bust, and the fact that you have to go on the road. I think the first time he went to Neyland was rough. I think Ole Miss is going to be 10 times worse. And for a lot of the people's sake that it's going to be in there or going to the game, hopefully that's a noon kickoff, but I know it won't be.
It's gonna be prime time.
You think they don't play the Florida Georgia game in prime time? Do you use the same principles with that on this? Because I'm telling you, dude, it's going to be rowdy. Because if Ole Miss is undefeated going in there, and LSU is 1-1, oh, dude, it's going to be. I think when they made the schedule, they just circled that one. As soon as the schedules came out, I just said, "Oh, brother."
Yeah, Duke. I think the first quarter of the season, you're staring at one. Like it's not looking good.
I mean,
but that's and that'll be dominating the headlines, Duke. I'm telling you.
Oh, you already know it's going to be. There's nobody else week 1 that has a fascinating matchup like Kiffin does. Because if you read the week 1 slate for the SEC, it's Austin Peay, Vanderbilt, snoozer, A&M, Missouri State, paycheck game, Texas State, Texas, paycheck. The Golden Flashes go see Shane Beamer and Lenora Sellers, paycheck game. There's nobody that has a real opponent outside Ole Miss in LSU. I mean, Auburn's got Baylor coming to town, but I don't know. Summerall opens up with FAU. Tennessee State's getting a big paycheck from Georgia. I mean, they're playing. Ole Miss is playing Louisville in Nashville, I believe.
Yep.
They haven't released times yet, which they won't for
7:30 kick Sunday.
So, yeah, Pete Golding, they are building this college. I'm assuming College Game Day is going to be at Ole Miss.
Oh yeah,
I would think. I mean, I could look real quick.
Unless they're at game day for Ohio State, Texas, but I don't foresee that happening.
No, Ohio State, Texas is the week before. Yeah, I would say game day will be there. Week 0, I would assume game day is going to Ireland, right?
Playing in Ireland.
North Carolina, TCU. I think who's the international game?
That makes 0 sense. I thought it would be like Notre Dame playing in Ireland.
No, they've been doing this weird deal with the ACC the last couple of years. Yeah, it's in Ireland. But week 3, you have Florida State going to Alabama. You have, that's going to be an odd matchup. You got Summerall, which is from Alabama, going to play at Auburn. And then you have LSU Ole Miss. You have Georgia Arkansas. Georgia Arkansas will be a noon game. You got Michigan State, Notre Dame, Colorado at Northwestern. I don't see how game day is not there looking at the slate. I would say game day is going to be there. Unless they decide to pick Florida Auburn, which I couldn't imagine you would do that. When you have
two new coaches, I don't see that happening.
Unless they want to go probably Alabama, Florida State. Is that more compelling than LSU Ole Miss with all the storylines? I don't think so. So you're going to get game day. And I think if it's a game day game, it's going to be a 7:30 kick. I wouldn't be shocked if McAfee and the boys are down there for that.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be a fascinating, interesting week. I can tell you that much, but
But how many days away are we, Duke?
From where?
Kickoff.
Week 0, 5 months and 6 days.
Yeah.
Not that anybody's counting, but yeah, we'll get into the quarterback list. I forgot about that. We didn't hit it the one week. We got to go 40 to 50 on the quarterback list. So starting off, number 40, Troy Smith, Heisman Trophy winner. Following him, Graham Harrell. I think Chase Daniels was an underrated college quarterback at Missouri.
Yeah, he was good they were competitive when he was at Missouri.
Because he had Jeremy Maclin with him. He had some good dudes.
He had J-Mac. I'm trying to think who else. God, so long ago. Graham Harrell,
Graham Harrell was Michael Crabtree.
Yeah. I was about to say, yeah, Crabtree, and that was the year
they beat Texas in the walk-off.
They beat Texas, on the walk-off,
I think that partly played a role into getting Mac Brown fired. So, and then you also have not Stetson Bennett, but Ken Dorsey at Miami won a bunch of games.
That defense, man.
Yeah, yeah.
That defense carried him. Grant, he had Hall of Famers on that offense, though.
Oh yeah, their backfield was. Who was that?
Portis, McGahee.
Yeah, Willis McGahee.
Maybe Frank Gore.
I think Frank Gore was there. Najee Davenport.
Jarrett Payton.
Yeah,
Jarrett Payton did. I mean, they had studs in the backfield.
Yeah. Although I try not to pick on certain sports, but it's very interesting to me that Dawn Staley is losing it on the sideline and she is up 30 points. 30 in the first half. So, but anyway, back to scheduled programming. Stetson Bennett comes in at 44. Shocked by that at all? He won 2 natties.
No. He was a good college quarterback.
Mac Jones at 45.
Excuse me, shit. I came out of nowhere. 45. He won a natty.
Yeah, I mean, he won a natty.
They won undefeated.
Devontae Smith.
Yeah, Devontae Smith
won the Heisman. Also on this list, Landry Jones comes in right behind Stetson Bennett, or behind Mac Jones. Jones and Jones. No opinion on Landry?
No, I don't really have an opinion on Landry. But did he beat Alabama in the Sugar Bowl?
He might have.
No, I don't think he was there. Because it was Auburn, Florida State in the Natty. So maybe that might have been the year after.
Maybe. Then you have Alex Smith behind Landry Jones.
Number 1 overall pick. He had a decent NFL career. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
I think the back half of his career was better than the front half.
Yeah, I mean, his first couple seasons under San Fran, and they were rough. They had Vernon Davis who kept getting hurt, and they finally got I think they got Harbaugh in maybe his 5th or 6th year.
Yeah, and then
they were tough. I mean, they were tough. I mean, that wild card game against New Orleans was probably one of the best wild card games I've ever seen in the playoffs.
Yeah, you got Alex Smith and then Colin Klein, which is the head coach at Kansas State now.
I don't remember him.
Oh, he had the magical year with Bill Snyder. It was the closest Kansas State came. They dropped one late in the year to, I think, like a bad Iowa State team. It was the year that Notre Dame didn't win the Natty, but played in the Natty against
Against
Alabama.
Bama.
So that was kind of what that one was. So Kellen Klein got there, but was just came up short. And then to round out the list, the last two names on the top 50, Colt Brennan, which I think he was underrated.
Very underrated because he was at Hawaii.
Yep. Because, I mean, Hawaii went through that because who's the coach there? June Jones?
Yeah, but wasn't what's his name? Norm Chow wasn't there, was he?
No, I thought Norm Chow was at UCLA.
Yeah.
For a minute.
For a minute, yep.
You might Google who the coach was for those fellas.
It was June Jones because they ran the run and shoot.
Yes, June Jones, and then he went to SMU after he left Hawaii. Pretty sure.
But they were putting up points though that when he was there.
No, dude, they were boat racing everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, Colt Brennan threw for like over 10,000 yards.
I think it was almost to I think it was 13,000 or 14,000.
Because he got close to Tommy Chang's record.
Yep. I remember Tommy Chang too.
Also, Tommy Chang, head coach at Hawaii. Former quarterbacks being head coaches at their alma mater.
I did see him play in the Hall of Fame game, I think. In 2006.
Jerry Glanville.
Oh, Jerry.
Also, the last guy on the list, Aaron Murray.
An underrated Georgia quarterback.
He threw for, I think he's the all-time leader in SEC passing yards.
Yeah, like 13,000.
Yeah, something like that. So,
but where did he go? Did he get drafted? Who did he get drafted by?
I'm not sure who drafted him.
14. Man, it was that long ago. Chiefs drafted him.
Oh, he went to the Chiefs. So,
yeah. He got drafted in the 5th round.
This will jog your memory big time because we're about to hit the Wayback Machine on 50 through 60. So Aaron Murray was 50. I'll just read the next. I'm gonna read the next 11 names, and there's gonna be one name that you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, I remember that dude. So Byron Leftwich.
GMAC poll, that 30-point comeback.
Byron Leftwich, Eric Crouch, Brady Quinn, Eli Manning, Cam Ward, Kyle Trask, Jordan Lynch, Denard Robinson, Dan Lefevre, David Carr. And then this fella, Brad Banks of Iowa. Remember him?
I remember Brad Banks.
Those are the next couple of guys that are on the list. Going forward, I can go ahead and get rid of the top 50. So we'll be 50 through 100. We'll keep going on this list a little bit at a time. But man, there are some names on this list, on the backside of the list that will
make you want to watch some highlight tapes on YouTube because there's nothing else on.
Right. I mean, the tournament's almost over. To be completely honest, it's
My bracket's busted.
oh yeah. When Florida lost, I was just like, yeah, whatever.
That's the last time I listened to you on making picks. You cost me a free day off. Thank you very much.
If you pick the national champion, they gave you the day off.
No, I'm just fucking with you. It was a running joke. It would have been nice.
Here's an interesting thing. We got about 10 minutes left. I found this from Matchup Tracker on Instagram, and it's notable. It's every P4 team's all-time record versus AP number one opponents. And I think I got 9 minutes. I can buzz through this list. Alabama 11-7. Miami 9-11. Notre Dame 9-17-1. Ohio State 7-11. Purdue 7-12, which that's really impressive if you ask me for Purdue. USC 7-13. Oklahoma 7-17-2. Texas 5-12. Auburn 5-13. UCLA 4-13. Penn State 4-10. Wisconsin 4-18. Arkansas 4-23. Georgia 3-6. Michigan State 3-14-1. Illinois 3-14. Florida 3-16. And then you have Minnesota 3-17. A&M 3-17. A whole bunch of bad records. LSU is 2-16. I'm just going to pull the notables. Michigan against AP number one teams 3-19-1. Clemson 2-7. Tennessee 2-16. And then the Indiana's 1-16 against AP number ones. But here's what's more fascinating. I'll just read the names to you. Utah, UCF, Cincinnati, Houston, Louisville, NC State, Virginia, Rutgers, Colorado, SMU, Virginia Tech, Wake Forest, West Virginia, Iowa, Iowa State, Baylor, Cal, UNC, Oklahoma State, Duke, Oregon, Pitt, Ole Miss, Missouri all have no wins against an AP number one opponent.
Wow.
But I thought that was fascinating that if that's the deal that we're dealing with. And then we'll sneak a little Mark Pope action in here. So since Mark Pope took over at Kentucky, he's 46-26, one Sweet 16. Coach Cal is 50-22 at Arkansas. He's got 2 Sweet 16s and 1 SEC tournament championship. So did they really replace Mark Pope? Is Kentucky seriously considering trading or replacing this guy? Because to me, he's 20 games over 500. I don't know what else. I don't know what more you could ask for at that point. I mean, to be completely honest.
Like, what a fall from grace for Kentucky basketball.
I don't know. Did Kentucky fall or did everybody else catch up? That's also what you have to, and I think it's true for college football too.
Right. Oh yeah.
Did Kentucky fall or did they just everybody else catch up? I think that when it comes to there's elite coaches like Pitino, Coach Cal, Hurley, competing with those guys it's next level Because you could be a good college basketball coach. Like, I think Matt Painter is probably going to be a Hall of Fame basketball coach, and he hasn't won it all. He's, for the most part, dominated Indiana, which is something you need to do at Purdue. I just think a lot of the botch jobs that have happened. I mean, where Cal has struggled anywhere in his career has been in the tournament. But there's no room for any type of error. You have the tournament titans like Izzo, in which a lot of people do that to Michigan State, which I don't get, because year after year after year they make the tournament and they go on a run. Because Izzo's normally Elite Eight, Final Four almost every year, for the most part. So I just don't get that. And at Kentucky, for the most part, people have caught you in the SEC when it comes to basketball. You've been caught. Realistically, you have been.
Yeah, Duke, maybe you're right. Maybe they're like they were the Alabama of college basketball.
And also, I guess since we got 4 minutes left, we can talk about the tampering thing. So if the NCAA decides to move forward with tampering, does this set off a mushroom cloud of anybody that's taken a transfer that would have to be investigated for tampering?
Oh yeah,
That's kind of what
I
I'm.
think so. I think so. I think you have to backtrack and conduct an investigation, and if there's tampering, regardless who it is.
Because I don't typically, when I listen to people that do other podcasts, Chase Parham put this out today, and him and Neil were talking about the NCAA and the tampering stuff because of all the Clemson and Ole Miss going back and forth with the linebacker. What's to stop the kid? Since Dabo wants to raise all kinds of red flags here, what stops the kid that is the kid in question that flipped from Clemson to Ole Miss? What stops him from saying, well, Clemson tampered with me, that's why I got in the portal? What stops them? What stops that kid from doing that?
Not a damn thing. Because ultimately, you're going to have to punish the coaches.
Because since Clemson tampered with him to get him into the portal, he enrolls at Clemson and then takes off and goes to Ole Miss. Does that mean that Dabo and Pete Golding are going to get a suspension? Because I'm just saying you're opening up a can of worms that I don't think you can put them back into. You can't put this back into perspective after you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. I hate using that expression, but I don't think you can do that.
No. It's going to be it'll be a giant mess. It'll open a whole can of worms. It's
Because
I couldn't fathom what will happen.
Because you could have you could turn anybody in that's taken a transfer.
Yeah.
Because Dabo tampered and it blows back up in his face, and then he wants to say they tampered. Well, you tampered in the first place to get the kid in the portal.
Yep.
So I think that I typically don't take tidbits from other people, but that is something that majorly stuck out to me when they were talking about it when I was listening to it today. I mean, that sticks out kind of like a sore thumb, like, whoa, I didn't look at it from that angle. Because all the Utah kids and all the kids that went to LSU, I think Lane Kiffin got involved in this, and he could be the center point of it. Didn't he take a flight to Knoxville? I'm just saying.
I feel like he did.
So I don't know, Rich. I guess we'll monitor it and see how it goes. We're at an hour. Appreciate everybody who's watched the podcast tonight. Hit that like and subscribe button. And if you're watching it on the replay, if you like this content, we're live Monday through Friday. Probably going to do some stuff Saturday night. Not 100% sure because I will be coming back from the UFL. No podcast on Friday. Thursday's a little iffy at this point. So we just might see you Wednesday night, and then we'll probably see you Saturday. I sprung that on you a little early.
Indeed.
So we might have Richie, might not. Just shoot me a text. But appreciate it. Appreciate everybody watching. We'll go ahead and end it here. You guys have a good night.
Have a great night, everybody.